Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 47th On the Nail. Before we start, Martin O'Brien will pay a special tribute to the late Seamus Heaney. Martin O'Brien.
Good evening, everybody. I'll start by saying Yesterday go raibh an Dílish, because I'm sure that's where it is. I'll start by mentioning Seamus Heaney's collection Opened Ground. It was writing of poems for the remarkable son of a farmer, and all of his writing was in itself a kind of digging. And I will later on refer to that poem because it's so well known, but I think it so encapsulates the struggle of the writer. I think it's no accident either that the selection of the best poems of the 3 decades begins with the word between, because Heaney was very, very much a poet of the in-between, writing from a zone somewhere between North and South, between Catholic and Protestant, between Ireland, England, America, between formal and free verse, between public and private, between realism and allegory, between plain speech and loading every rift with ore, while also balancing the gravitas of his subject matter with the frolic and the grace of poetic language. As Heaney said himself, the point is to fly under or out and beyond those radar systems.
This poem is one very close to my heart, as well as indeed being one of the focuses of admiration of my mind. And when all the others were away at Mass, and Seamus Heaney designated it in memoriam MKH 1911 to 1984. That was his mother. When all the others were away at Mass, I was all hers as we peeled potatoes. They broke the silence, let fall one by one, like solder weeping off the soldering iron. Cold comforts sat between us, things to share, gleaming in a bucket of clean water. And again let fall. Little pleasant splashes from each other's work would bring us to our senses. So, while the parish priest at her bedside went hammer and tongs at the prayers for the dying, and some were responding, and some were crying, I remembered her head, bent towards my head, her breath in mine, our fluent dipping knives, never closer the whole rest of our lives.
The death of our friend Seamus Heaney wrote a tribute poem to Seamus. So we'll finish up on Michael O'Doherty's tribute to Seamus Heaney. If you'd like to come forward, Michael.
Thank you. Good evening. Before I read the poem, I want to say honor Seamus Heaney. To me, he was a friend to me. I never met Seamus Heaney, but you didn't have to meet Seamus Heaney because you knew by all his work he did and the writing he did. You knew what kind of man he was. He was a good man. Just think about the time I was doing my tutor back in 2009, and guess what Seamus Heaney did to me. Take a call, Seamus Heaney and me. Seamus Heaney stepped into my life in Donegal He was for Trinity into my Cuba and Kokoru. I find to cover my book. He came to war clung to my uniform and to me. This year of poverty made me brave enough to explore the imagery and emotion, brave enough to explore the true nature and beauty became familiar again. A man going half of my day in 2009. Clay McKinney sat beside me, my inspiration, my teacher, my guide. May Clay McKinney rest in peace.
Thank you very much, Martine, Berta and Michael. Our guests this evening are John W Sexton, Mulcahy and Deirdre Hynes. Mulcahy's poetry has been accepted for publication in many journals, including The Stinging Fly, The Stony Thursday Book and Revival, and read on RTE1 and Lyric FM. He got to a short list of 5 for the collection of poems competition at Writers' Week, Listowel in 2008 and 2010. In 2004, he received an honorary doctorate from the National University of Ireland. A collection of his Irish language poems was recently published. Mulcahy.
Hi everybody, and thank you to those of you who've travelled. I'd like to thank Dominic Taylor for his kind invitation to read here tonight. I read some poems from my new English book, which will be published within the next 8 weeks. And I started with one going back as far as I can remember. Bethlehem in Wexford, 1949. Distant and indistinct, dredged from the debris of memory, stomping home in snow with father and brother, to find our mother who loved surprises and created the best yet. For there in the drawing room, already shedding needles, was a tree with our first Christmas lights, tiny coloured lights running in and out about the spilling branches. On the sideboard, a real crib of crinkly charcoal paper with foreign figures minding baby Jesus on a straw floor. High above its cottony snow, a glistening star reflected silvery snatches of wonder. While from our kitchen came the scent of frankincense and myrrh.
Shortly thereafter, and from there to Letterkenny in County Donegal, where she now lives. She graduated from Trinity in 1989 with a double honours degree in English and Theatre Studies. She has written several plays, of which Howling Moon, Silent Sun won the Stewart Award for Best New Play in 1992. She was shortlisted for the Patrick Kavanagh Poetry Award in 2010 and won the Listowel Poetry Collection in 2011. She has had articles published in various magazines such as The Countryman, Ireland's Own and Escape. Deirdre Hines.
Very much for inviting me here. Had a wonderful day today, meeting Templar Knights and 19th century Smiths walking around Nicholas Street. Very interesting setting. The first poem I'm going to read tonight is the title poem from my collection, The Language of Coats. The problem with coats lies in what cupboard you'll find yourself hanging in, whether you take them off or keep them on. They came from Persia's seamed fitters, along with the trouser, and settled as nouns. I like to choose my coats from the rails of second-hand shops. Vincent de Paul is the best for everything end of season. I'd like to be my own designer, but what of the other wearers? The tailcoat met the lion skin and called it savagery. The morning coat met the suffragette, who called it inequality. The coatless met the landlords and called for democracy. That's the problem with coats. The way a simple naming can switch them into scapegoats. The only ones worth wearing are the colour of two magpies clacking from the top of rainbow trees. When I won the Listowel collection, and I'm delighted to hear Nolini Goldman's work tonight, beautiful performance, this was the poem that clinched it for her. She was the judge that year. Demography. I am born, my name is Mary, after the Blessed Mother. I have 6 sisters and the 2 brothers. I am little, I have a horse. I have 5 sisters and still the 2 brothers. I miss my sister, may the saints and all the blessed angels mind her up in the holy heaven. I am Mary, I am bigger now. I live in Dublin, that's the capital sister of the country, on a site like with no toilets or electric or a barbie shower or a binman. I'm going to the school and it's shite, the school and the teachers. No, I'm not going, yes you are, no I'm not. Me mum won't let me leave. I'm bigger now, bigger than yous lousers any day. Me mum is crying over her father, that's my grandfather, because he's passed away and he's only 50. Lucky to reach 50, the others say. What's lucky about it? There's a girl in my class and she's a know-it-all pain in the arse. Barbie bitch asked me, did I know that 5 in every 100 of our sort of people pass 50? And a good job too, says she, and I made a good job of her nose and I'm suspended. And that's a good job too, best job ever. The teacher said I'm a criminal elephant, and what it has to do with criminal elephants I don't know. And it just goes to show the buffs, the settled people, they're not near wise. I am Mary, I am bigger now. I live in Dublin, the capital city of the country like. I am blessed now. I made my communion the day. There was a woman came into our trailer the day. Me and my sisters, we say we get a lot of visitors. When he told me mum that more people visits us than visits the shrines and the relics, she told me for to shut my mouth, we needs them people. I needs nothing from them, and they eats all the biscuits and they're nosier by far than the shades, and that's the God's honest truth. I am Mary, I'm 10 years of age. I have 6 sisters and 1 up in the holy heaven and 2 brothers and now the twins, and they've just arrived. The 1 a boy, the 1 a girl, so that's the 7 sisters and the 1 that's up in the holy heaven and the 3 brothers. And my mum's worried and so's the rest of us. And this woman came the day about the moving into a house. And she was saying that for every 102 of us who are boys, there's only 100 who are girls. My mum didn't know what she was on about. And in her people, the settled people, there's 98.6 boys for every 100 girls. And the next thing you know, I says to me, mum, they'll be looking for our fellas, and well, I swear to the Blessed Mother and all the blessed angels, they'll never get into my trailer to eat all me biscuits and be nosing after me boys.
Thank you, Martine, first of all, for lighting a candle for Seamus Heaney. Remembering the dead proves that we have culture and proves that we have poetry. I'm going to read a few poems from the collection, but first of all I want to start with a new poem. I keep the new poems in the back pocket and I read them over and over again. Just to see if they're any good like and whether they're fit for the bin or worth keeping. I wrote this on the day that Seamus Heaney died. I wrote it actually sometime after midday in the early afternoon, not long after hearing of his death. The fading month. The red is now settling into the hawse, but the date is just a number. Badgers are asleep in their sets, their earthen doors sealed with daylight. The last wasps hum in jars left for their entombing. No frogs now, none. It's still August, but the summer expired without our marking it. Just stole out, gone. I look through the window. The grass is tired. The sun shines bright only in the silvered clouds. Even sunlight is a lie. An otter heading out from the sally-fringed river would be an angel, No angels allowed, says the sign to the heart, and no breaking. Death came today and continues taking.